Alrighty, so I feel like I'm really on top of it today. Here we are, 10 p.m. You can't see it because I cropped the browser, but it's 10 p.m. exactly, actually. And sorry, Discord noises once again. Anyways, so here we are. 6.9 update notice. New hero, SSR creation Fighter Diane. So if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that this is Green Diane. This one right here. It doesn't say, yeah, it does, creation. So this one is actually supposed to be very good, like a really good Diane. She's a good tank unit and everything, so this might actually be worth going for, depending on what's going on with it. I don't know, it doesn't look like it's going to be a step up, I'm not sure, but let's read the rest of it before we do too much speculation. So 100-day celebration events, 100-day celebration global drop, 100-day exchange shop, bingo number ticket global drop, 100-day bingo event, goal reach event reward up, 100-day secret box, deathmatch reward festival, 100-day reward dungeon, 100-day celebration 7DS mission, Training Grotto spontaneous missions, Diane's equipment salvaging event. Okay, so this is really good. People have been wondering when the next equipment salvaging event is going to be on, and it looks like it's going to start tomorrow. This is really good because if you don't know what this means, it's basically when, so if you've been grinding up and really collecting a whole bunch of equipment lately and trying to get good materials out of salvaging those, this is pretty much just going to make it to where your salvaging rates are much higher, so you have a better chance of getting super successes and ultra successes on salvaging equipment, which means you're going to get a lot more rewards out of each salvage. So now would be a really good time to start, grinding out some equipment and everything. Hopefully with the previous, there was some half stamina costs and everything like that for a lot of the chapters and everything like that for free stages, so hopefully you grinded out some equipment. I actually did grind out a pretty decent amount, but I've already salvaged it at this point. I wonder if they're going to be doing another half stamina, or if they're just going to leave it at that and just let you salvage at regular stamina or whatever, but this is still really good. This is definitely the time that you need to be working on your equipment. It's only right that they're releasing it alongside of the grotto and everything like that, because, Training Grotto is literally about equipment in general, so pretty much goes hand in hand. Hero enhancement success rate increase, so you can boost your heroes a lot quicker now, just because the success rate's going to be higher. Social media sharing event, so it looks like we're getting a ton of different sorts of events and rewards and stuff like that, so definitely be logging in the next couple of days and stuff like that. I would assume for the next week or two, maybe, probably just 1 week, but I'm not positive on that, just because there's going to be a lot of stuff to get. So Training Grotto is the next section. It looks like we've got a screenshot here of what it's going to look like. You got some level 1s and level 2s and a level 3 down here. I'm pretty sure there's different sorts of fights and everything like that. You go into the different fights, and the whole thing with this game mode is that you can go in, and any of the heroes that you use, you cannot use them again unless you reset the grotto. So it looks like you've got a reset thing down here. Like I said, I'm not a JP player, so I could be getting this completely wrong. I'm just going off of what it looks like to me. A lot of other, mobile games that I've played have systems like this where you can't use the heroes more than one time during the event. So, yeah, that's just what it looks like to me. I could be wrong, but obviously we'll check it out tomorrow. So, able to open with Grotto or Training Grotto keys after clearing episode 109. Training Grotto keys take 5 days to recharge. Dang, that's actually longer than I was expecting. Able to acquire Hammers of Visal, which are really good. We went over that a little bit. These are going to increase your substat rolls without actually re-rolling the substat itself. So if you roll and get an attack stat that you really want to keep, but it's not quite high enough, you can use these hammers to increase that actual percentage without re-rolling the whole substat. Equipment engraving stones. These are what you're going to be using to upgrade equipment to the next tier, which actually unlocks UR gear, but I think they're going to be doing UR gear for specific characters at a time. At least that's how they did it on JP from what I understand. So they released Meliodas first, along with a couple of other characters, and then every couple of weeks they would release new heroes that would get UR equipment. So these are going to be really good. Make sure you're farming these out and saving these up, so that way you can, put some good, gear on your people, and other kinds of rewards. Stats with equipment do not apply in the Training Grotto, similar to Fight Festival Normal. So this is going to be ungeared, which is pretty nice, honestly. You're not going to have to put a whole bunch of crazy equipment on your characters just to get through this, which is always a plus. Good for PvE events, I think. There will be 30 Goddess Ambers when the Training Grotto opens. 5 of them will be randomly selected for battle. So I think this is what these are. These are the Goddess Ambers, I would assume. Then there's 30 of them in here, I guess, and it's going to activate 5 of them. And then I think each of them is corresponding to a different fight. I'm pretty sure there's already, I think on this actually there is a training cave thing. Yeah, and this has got all of the different fights and everything like this. I'll leave a link to the Grand Cross database down below if you haven't been using that. It's really nice and helpful for a lot of things. So yeah, can exchange ambers for free once a day. Further exchanges will cost 1 diamond. So I guess if you get a really hard fight and you can't beat it, you can exchange that one once per day for free. And then if you can't beat the next one, you're either going to have to wait till the next day, or you're going to have to use a diamond to re-roll that. I would definitely try to save your diamonds, though. I wouldn't worry about that too much. The heroes used to clear a Goddess of Amber cannot be used again. We went over that a little bit. Clearing Goddess Ambers will fill the Illusion Amber gauge. Fill the gauge all the way to unlock Illusion Ambers. The gauge amount filled varies on the difficulty of the cleared stage. Can unlock Illusion Ambers for a max of 3 times if only clearing level 3 Goddess Ambers. Okay, so I don't know what that does specifically. The Training Grotto will close after clearing 9 Goddess Ambers, or after 7 days have passed since the grotto opened. So it resets weekly. I don't really know what this, I don't know what Illusion Ambers are, but if I'm not mistaken, I think I've seen somebody talk about this. I think the Illusion Amber is what happens. So when you fill this thing completely up, I think it uses one of the teams that you are using. And you have to fight against that team, so you're going to want to try to keep some of your best units for last, so you can actually use your best units to fight some of the team members that you use throughout the grotto for the week. So, like I said, I'm not a pro on this yet, so I will have to experience some of this tomorrow and actually get some experience on this. So, yeah, sorry if any of this is shaky information, but. Equipment Engraving can proceed with equipment engraving by talking to Merlin in the tavern after completing episode 115.1. Can only engrave equipment that has been awakened to tier 5 and enhanced +5. So what this is saying is you have to have it as a 5-star piece of equipment, and you're going to have to +5 it as well to push it up to the next tier. So SR equipment or SSR equipment is going to have to be tier 5, level 5, and then you're going to be able to push it up to a UR gear. So that's pretty cool. Engraving a hero's name on the equipment will raise the equipment's grade by 1. UR grade is the max. UR grade equipment can only be obtained through engraving. So you can see the little chart here. It's going to cost 5 level 2 awakening stones and 1 engraving stone to go from from common to uncommon, and then you've got etc, all the way up to SSR is going to cost a level 6 awakening stone, which we haven't had a use for these yet. So this is going to be pretty pricey, which is I think the reason why they're doing the whole equipment salvage event, so that way you guys can try to get a lot of these 5 stars and push them up to 6 stars. So that's going to be pretty cool. Can obtain equipment engraving stones in the Grotto's Illusion Ambers. You can remove equipment engravings and lower the grade if it's pre-engraving state, but the engraving materials initially used will not be restored. So you can, if you upgrade something to UR and you don't want it to be UR for that specific character, you'll have to kind of dismantle it back down to an SSR. But you're gonna lose these engraving stones in the process, which is a little unfortunate. So just make sure you're upgrading these for characters that you specifically want. Engraved equipment can be worn by all heroes, but the engraving effects will only apply to the heroes whose names are engraved on the equipment. So, when you upgrade it, well, actually, heroes with engravings. So these are the first characters that are getting engravings. We've got Valenti, Diane, Gil Thunder, and Hauser. So this is definitely a different lineup from what they did on JP Week 1. More heroes and engravings will be added over time. So they're going to be doing the same. I would assume they're going to be doing the same kind of thing. Like periodically, they're going to be adding new heroes that are going to be getting engravings. But to start off with, I guess this new Diane is going to be getting some UR gear and everything, and so you can potentially use that to your advantage. I don't know how many people are actually going to want to rush that Diane gear because it's so costly to get it this early, but who knows. This new Diane is supposed to be pretty good, so maybe some people will do it and wreck shop in Elite Feist Festival. So Hauser would also be kind of good, but you know, whatever. Hammers of Visel. Hammers of Visel can increase and awaken stats, or increase and awakened stats numerical value, can obtain in the Training Grotto and equipment draw. So you're going to be able to do equipment draw to grab these two, which is really nice. I've actually been thinking about doing that because I've got a pretty decent amount of money saved up, so we may end up looking into that in a video in the near future. There is a chance of failing, and the value will not increase in said cases. Okay, so that's kind of interesting as well. I didn't know that it could fail, but then again, I guess if you just keep saving up hammers over and over, like depending on how easy they are to get, it could be a little bit overpowered if it was just like a guaranteed up, which I know it's not going to increase it by a specific value each time. It is a random value. Like you could potentially max it out off of one thing, I'm pretty sure, like off of one use, but sometimes it might just go up by like a couple of points at a time. So who knows? Should be pretty cool. Like just to have that in the game, though. I'm sure it's going to be super nice and helpful to upgrade SSR equipment without having to, re-roll a million times using anvils or diamonds. So yeah. New bundles. 100-day discount bundle, 100-day celebration diamond bundle, most malevolent knighthood costume set 2. I don't actually know who gets these costumes. I'm gonna look into that in a second because these outfits are really, really cool. Depending on who gets them, I may try to invest. Hawk Pass special, so there's gonna be a new Hawk Pass out. I wonder who the hero for that's gonna be, because normally they add a hero for the Hawk Pass, don't they? But I'm not sure. Hammer of Visel bundle, equipment engraving bundle, and anvil bundle 2. So a lot of this is just going to be like pay to win sort of ways to get any of these new materials and stuff like that, or just equipment stuff in general. And then miscellaneous. Fix the freezing issue when consecutively drawing equipment. Added more titles. Combat and incarnate. Blacksmith. Oh, okay. More titles. I get you. So those are the little things that go underneath your name, and you can unlock them by doing different accolades and stuff like that. So this is going to be a pretty big update. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of rewards to come, and the Training Grotto is a big thing. I'm just excited to have a new sort of game mode to kind of sink some time into. Hopefully it's not, too difficult, but, it's really about learning how to do it and everything. I know you're going to be trying to level up a lot of just different units in general, so that way you can actually get through it all, because it's not going to let you use the same characters twice. So it just depends on how built up your box is at this point, but everybody can work on that going forward, and then they'll do better in this over time. So yeah, kind of interested in Diane. Let's actually look at her really quick. I've not actually looked into her too much. Metal Shock inflicts sever damage, 2 times critical chance, equal to 160 of attack on one enemy, then 240%, and then 400%. Stretch is her unique, taunts enemies and creates a barrier equal to 300% of defense at the start of the battle. Creates a barrier. Okay, so does it taunt all enemies at the very beginning of the battle? That's kind of interesting, if that's the case. Heavy Metal taunts enemies and increases defense-related stats by 80% for 3 turns, 120% by 3 turns, and then 200% for 3 turns. That's actually really good. Dragon Kick inflicts pierce damage equal to 560%, and then if you pair her up with Hauser, you're going to get pierce damage with 640%. depending on how high up the ult is. So this is actually really cool. She's supposed to be a really good unit. I'm definitely interested. I really like her UR costume for this character specifically, because I already have Matrona Diane, and I have the other fighter Diane, but I don't think she's nearly as good, so I've not really leveled her up as much. But with this one actually being a pretty viable unit, I would definitely like to pull her if possible, but you know, I'm not going to sink a whole bunch of gems into this if I don't have to. But anyways, that's pretty much going to do it. Let me know your thoughts on this whole thing, because I mean, there is a pretty good amount of information here. Obviously, we're getting a new character. A lot of people were thinking it was going to be Blue Lilia, but I honestly was just thinking it was way too early, especially with them just ending the Valenti banner, that they would bring out, you know, Blue Lilia this soon. It just seemed a little early, but I don't know. That was just personal opinion. But yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, I'll be making content on some of this new stuff coming up, so feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.